What's up, Wilmington? The 910 podcast is about to bring to you your weekly dose of tips, tricks, and hacks, and news and events affecting Wilmington and all of southeastern North Carolina. So take your seats and buckle up because it's going to be a wild ride. And here are your hosts, the Hot Mess Express, Shani May and Frankie!
What's up, Wilmington? How is your Labor Day? It's Shani May
and Frankie
bringing his Hot Mess Express right into the station. Hop aboard, toot toot.
Or hop off.
Yeah, you might want to get off and run. Either way.
Wow. Well, this is a big episode for us. It is actually episode number 10.
Oh, wow. I'm so proud of you for keeping up with that because I can't.
Or 10, as some people say. Like in my family up in the hills, we say 10.
10. It's got two syllables.
Yeah.
10.
Yeah. It's like T-I-E-N. I think it's probably how we would spell it. Not because we're illiterate. I mean, that's how we say it. So, yeah, episode 10. And here we are doing our very first top 5 episode.
That's restaurants. Woo, my favorite.
And hopefully,
feed the fat girl.
Happily in the future, did I say happily? Hopefully in the future, we will have someone here with us as a guest and having fun and cracking up, making jokes and making it more interesting. And so all of our friends and listeners, if you want to be on the show, message us and we'll see what we can do and get you here for one of our top 5 episodes where we are going to discuss Shani May's top 5 and my top 5 of whatever categories that we desire. And let me change that. So Shani May's top 5 and my top 5 of whatever it is that you guys want to hear. And this week, you and I and Shani May and all the listeners and the boys and girls around the world decided restaurants.
Yes. Feed me, Seymour.
And, Wilmington has a ton of restaurants all over the place.
Yes.
And there are some restaurants that are locally. There are some that are franchises. There are some that, corporate through and through. So this should be interesting for us to discuss. And Shani May and I live in 2 different parts of the area. She lives up in the north part, up in Pier County. And I live down at the south end.
South side, what?
South side representing.
Hey.
Of Curry Beach. And so I'm at the far south part of the county. And she's in the north part of Pier County. And we're hoping that folks from Brunswick, Pender, and New Hanover County are listening to this and listen to us. And we talk about news and what's going on here in the area. But this week we're not. We're not talking about the area. We're not talking about the news. We're just talking about the top 5. And so this might be a little shorter episode, and it just depends on how much we ramble and argue about each other's restaurants.
So I got my 5. You got your 5?
You got 5
I got 5 on
it. So let me think about this and where we need to go from here. Oh,
this is a damn shame. We both thought it at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah, 5. So in the next couple of weeks, we'll post another poll on our Facebook and our Twitter, and we hope that you will vote on it. If you don't see it, feel free to just message us, text us, email us, smoke signal,
courier pigeon.
And let us know what your idea is for the next top 5. And hopefully we'll have another person here with their opinion. And so it will, instead of being, maybe 5 places, it might be 15, or 10 places, it might be 15. But we might have some of the same. And Shani May and I haven't even really talked about who is on our list. So there might be some repeats. There might not. And you all might disagree. And if you are listening to this, feel free to go to our Twitter or our Facebook page our Instagram, and that is at 910pod. That's POD. And you can go ahead and comment and give us your opinion, because I have a feeling that a lot of people around here will disagree with some of our choices. Now, that being said, Shani Mae, ladies first, what is your number 5 restaurant in the area?
My number 5, it was hard. It was really hard to choose, and I was torn. I'm not going to lie. It was really hard to put them in order because I'm a foodie and I just love to eat, and they all are really good. But I'm going to say my number 5 is J. Michael's. It's a local. It is not necessarily a franchise, but boy, oh boy, them cheesesteaks and fried mushrooms got it going on, bro.
So, how many J. Michaels are in the area? Do you know?
There's Monkey Junction, Oleander across from the mall, and Porter's Neck. Is there any others? I think there's just those 3.
Okay.
But they're all equally as awesome. They have for those of you that are calling yourself being good, they have a cheesesteak salad where they put the meat and the cheese over top of lettuce and tomato instead of putting it on the bun. And it is delicious that way too. I love to have the fried mushrooms. Got to have that cheesesteak every now and then, whether it's on the bread or not. So if you're feeling fluffy or you're feeling a little light, you can get you a salad or you can get it on the bun.
Yeah, I've only eaten there a few times, and gosh, where did I start doing this? But I like my cheesesteaks with horseradish.
Oh, really? Yeah, that is a little different. Now,
Is
I'm not
it?
going to give away their secret. I'll do it when we're off air. But I figured it out and why it's so good, and it's the bomb. I make it at home too. But yeah, if you haven't eaten there, try them out. They're very, very good. Like I said, there is a location in Monkey Junction, one in the Porter's Neck area, and one across from Independence Mall at Hanover Center. J. Michael's, they're the place to be.
Yeah, and so I'm looking on their website, and they do have some healthy menu items, and that one didn't make my list, but they do. On their website, and I'm sorry, my contacts are dirty, and I don't know why.
You're just a dirty boy.
At least my contacts are. And I can't read really well, but it's actually, it looks like they have phillydeli.com, PHILLYDELI.com, since 1979, so that's really cool.
Yeah, I can remember eating there my entire life. Now, back in the day, the only one that was there was the one on Oleander at Hanover Center. Then they branched out to Market Street and to Monkey Junction. So when I was growing up, the original one was the one there across from the mall, and it's always been equally as good. It's owned by the same family all these years, like you said, since the 70s. The father was running it, and now, if I'm not mistaken, it's his 2 sons. So it is very, very good, and it's local, and all the more reason to keep them going.
Yeah, and that's really cool. Yeah, that's their website. That's crazy. Yeah, then you're right. Those are the 3 that they have there in the area. That's really cool. And every time I've eaten there, they've always had good food. So my number 5. Gosh, now looking at my list, I think I might need to rethink this whole thing.
See, I told you it's hard to number them.
All right, my number 5, and I am going to renumber. Watch this. On the fly, I'm going to change this. My number 5 is K38, which is owned by the same folks that own the Kava Grill, which I think is up in Porter's Neck, near your neck of the woods, and then also Tower 7.
And Mexican street corn got it going on.
Yes, thank you for mentioning that, because that is what I get 9 times out of 10 there. Actually, 10 times out of 10 if I order anything. But sometimes I just go in there and have a nice large Diet Coke and their guacamole and queso and their chips.
I'll take the queso. You keep the guac.
Not a fan of the
guac.
guac?
Green stuff, man.
No. I totally had you pegged for being a fan of the green stuff. But anyway, I love K38. They have great service every time I'm in there. And there is a wait. And, usually if you go to a place and there's a wait, there's a reason.
That's right. That lets you know it's worth the wait
most
of the time.
Yeah, and they have had some phenomenal wait staff. And one thing that I have realized about being there, and my friend Michael and I go there probably once or twice a month, is that the owner is very involved in the business, and I think that they have a catering outside of another building that's there. But he will come in and you'll know that it's him because people's demeanor changes, and he'll make subtle changes with the lights or the music or where you really won't even notice it. But that's why he's like a successful business owner, because he notices it and it makes a difference to him. So it's
Right.
Usually it's pretty neat when you see this guy come in and you see people's demeanor change, and you see that he's making these like small minuscule changes, but they're important to this guy. And then they also have like surfing videos that are up, and their music selection is awesome. So K38, it's a Baja California Mexican type place, and chips, salsa, but also their queso and their guac, even though Shani Mae doesn't like guac, is just amazing. And they're not like a typical Mexican restaurant place. It's more Baja California, and very fresh ingredients and very cool people, and their wait staff work really hard. So that is my number 5. Shani Mae, what you got for number 4?
Number 4, I'm going to say the Little Dipper downtown. Now, I must say that I'm more of a chocolate and cheese kind of girl, like the cheese and the dessert. I'm not real big on the actual meats in the meal portion. They do have that, but they also have the cheese and chocolate, and that's what I like to go for because those are my 2 favorites. And the atmosphere, the ambience is awesome. They have a little deck out back. A lot of times during the summer, they'll have some acoustic music, some kind of local guy playing, girl, and the actual food is awesome. The Little Dipper, if you don't know, it's like kind of like a melting pot type of place. They have the melted chocolates or the melted cheese, and you dip your different things. They have breads, vegetables. For the chocolates, you have like cream puffs, fruits, and like Rice Krispie treats and things like that you dip into the chocolate. And the cheese, you have breads, vegetables, and stuff that you dip into it. And you choose what kind of cheese you want. And then when it comes to the dessert, you choose what type of chocolate or what have you. You can do milk chocolate, dark chocolate. Some of it has peanut butter. You can do different things mixed in to where it's like the turtle with the caramel. And it is awesome. It's always a good time. My girlfriends and I like to meet there at least, I'd say at least twice a month, sometimes more if possible. Tuesday nights, they have a locals night, so you can do the cheese and chocolate for a little bit cheaper than the normal menu, and it is definitely a good time, always. So if you have not tried it out, it's a good local area.
So it's fondue.
Absolutely fondue.
Yeah, I went there on a date once.
Well, now that kind of brings to mention, I've been with a few people that are like, wait a minute, I got to cook my own food? What? Huh? But that's why I say I don't necessarily like to go for the meats, because that's just putting your meat in the oil and frying it, or doing like a tempura style where you bread it and fry it. That's not really my thing, but the cheese and the chocolate, they are on time, and I promise you'll enjoy it. So definitely go have some good conversation, a few cocktails, get you some cheese and chocolate, and enjoy your night.
You are exactly right. So what I realized about that date was, first of all, she wasn't the one. Second of all, that fondue junk was just way too much work, and it was hard to have a conversation and cook all that stuff. But it was because we did the whole thing, and then
the whole meal, and it does get time consuming.
Yeah, and expensive as a mug. So Shani Mae just gave you all some like very good advice in that if you go there, look, if fondue's your thing and you're a fondue expert, blah blah blah, that's fine. Go do the whole deal, spend the whole money.
Do your thing.
Yeah. But if you are just wanting to go and do the fondue and have some fun and, BS around with your friends or a date or whatever, then just do the appetizer and the dessert. And it's much more cost effective and it will taste
Honestly,
better.
I get as full because I don't really eat much of the meats because I don't like the fried aspect of it in the oil and it's kind of weird because there's not really any seasonings and like if you were to marinate it at home or at a restaurant. So I love the cheese and the chocolate, but yeah, that's definitely the way to go.
Wow, I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah, and so that's downtown. It's there at the corner of not Dock, but whatever the next one is.
It's the opposite corner from Real Cafe if you're going back towards the Cape Fear Bridge.
Yeah, same block.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just walk up the hill past the Barbary Coast,
Uh-huh.
which is another interesting place.
Been around for a long, long time. That's why.
I hope they still have the sign out that says, we have upped our standards, now up yours.
I used to love to go there because they were one of the only places in town that had ring on a string. And I'm here to tell you, you get a few drinks in me and I'm going to ring on the string championship.
That's what you call it?
Yeah.
Okay.
You never played that? Have you played that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, like just about every bar has it now. But back in the day,
We call
they
it-
were the only ones that you could find it at. And I love to play that game.
We call it Bimini.
Oh, okay.
But ring on a string. What kind of ring do you think that is? Never mind.
Yeah, no, let's not talk about that.
Yeah.
tonight.
So
Not at the restaurants.
that was your number.
That was my number 4.
What was your number 5?
I gave you number 5 was J. Michaels.
Oh, Jay Michaels. Okay, that was your number 4.
Dilly.
Have I
And like
given?
you mentioned about K38, J. Michaels has always got an awesome staff. They're always willing to help you. Little Dipper, I've never really had the same waitress or the waiter at the same time. J. Michaels, I see a lot of the same staff because I go to the same one. So
Oh yeah,
it kind of varies. But
yeah. So my number 4 is down here on the island, and this is going to be a shocker. No, probably not. So my number 4 is down here on the island, and it is Hurricane Alley's.
hey, that's the only time I'd been there when we went a few weeks ago before the fireworks.
Yeah.
It was good, and I had a great time.
Yeah, one of the things that I think that Carolina Beach, Curie Beach has been lacking is the number of places where you can have a meal and stuff and see the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
And then even Wrightsville Beach, those places are limited. So like the Oceanic up in Wrightsville Beach is expensive as heck. The Holiday Inn Sunspree, I used to love to go there when I lived up that way. On like a Sunday morning after church, they have a great Cobb salad. But anyway, ADD's getting the best of me. So there's not a lot of places, and so this is one of the few places here on the island where you can go and have a meal and see the ocean. So, and I'm just going to name a bunch of other places that you can do that. So there's the North End Pier at Carolina Beach, and I'm not saying I'm naming them all because I'm staying off the top of my daggone head. And then there is also the Tiki Grill, Tiki Island Grill, Tiki Bar there, and there's a new place. It's called Leaping Lizards that's there on the Carolina Beach Boardwalk. You can do it there, and by do it there, I mean you can see the ocean and have a meal too, and that pretty much sums it up as far as I can think on the top of my head. So Hurricane Alley, I don't know what was in this building before they were there because I don't remember it, but they have a second floor deck that you can go and sit and eat, and it's usually full because people want to sit and eat and see the ocean, and it's one of the few places that are there. But the reason that I like it is because the food has been consistent every time I've ever went. I don't think they have a large kitchen. I don't think they have a very large menu of just things all spread out, different stuff that you can order. I think it's more of like a small beach bar that serves food kind of atmosphere. But there is a girl that has worked there for a few years, and her name is Stephanie, and she is one of the best servers / bartenders I've ever seen in my entire life. And when we walk in, she recognizes me and knows what I want to drink, and takes very good care of me in a totally platonic server kind of way.
Hey, but that means a lot these days because people do not pay attention anymore. They don't put that into the effort into it.
Well, I threw that awkward part in there just because I want people to understand that this girl, I don't know her from outside that place. I've only seen her outside that place once, and that was when she was in front of me at the coffee shop, but I was meeting someone, and I didn't even speak because I had like 1,001 things going through my brain. So I'm just telling you that I have no interest in, this bar, restaurant, and this person, other than just tell you that she has always given me great service, and she really does a good job. And whoever owns that place really should give her a big high five and thank you, because she works real hard and takes care of a bunch of people. And she's really a hustler and the backbone of that place as far as I can tell. So, and that's Hurricane Alley's. It is right beside the miniature golf place there. Right on the Carolina Beach Boardwalk, and that's it. It's very cool. And what I usually get there is probably like the pill and eat shrimp, or they have some wraps that are really good, and they have live music a few nights a week, and it's just a really good place and a good location right there next to I think the Marriott, right?
Yeah. Between the golf and the Marriott.
Yeah, so that is my number 4, and you already gave your number 4, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my number 3 is also here on the island. My number 3 is Jack Mackerels.
I've been there once, and it was good. It's been like a year or so, but it was good. It was like for lunch. It was great, but I don't get out this way a whole lot during the daytime or even evenings for that matter in time to eat. So I don't have a whole lot of opinion on the ones in this area, but that is something I tried and it was really good.
So Jack Mackerels, I'm going to say it's one of the top 5, mostly because of the staff. And not saying that the food is not good. Everything I've ever eaten there has been good. Now, the salads that I have eaten there, I'm not a huge fan of the salads. And it may be because my favorite salad is the Cobb salad from Holiday Inn Sunspree. But I will tell you that when I get a craving for wings here on the island, that is my go-to place. I absolutely love the wings. It's a large portion and it's very affordable. And they have a guy there. His name is Ben, and he has worked there for, I want to say, 8 years. And that's a huge testament to a restaurant to have someone who's worked there such a long time. And he's a bartender there, but it's like you go sit at the bar and you ain't gotta get drunk or do shots or whatever that most people think that you do at beach bars. And if you're a single person, and sometimes it's better to go and sit at the bar so that you're not sitting at a table all alone,
right,
talking to yourself. So Ben is
very old best friend.
He is the nicest guy, and he is a great bartender, server, and I hope to get him on the show here because he and I had a real interesting conversation the other night. And he's also a musician, and he just gave so much insight to that place. And he is much like Stephanie up at Hurricane Alley's. He's a very much a credit to that restaurant, Jack Mackerels. I know there's a lot of moving parts to that, but when you think about when you go into a place, you really don't meet the manager, you don't meet the owner, you don't meet the chef, you meet your server. They get you your stuff, and you really judge your experience there in that place based on your one interaction with those people that serve you and take care of you. So I'll just tell you, his name is Ben, and he is absolutely phenomenal. And he looks like a a younger version of me back when I started Carolina in 1999. So he's an awesome guy, and I hope to have him on here and talk to him because he's very interesting. He's moved from Ohio, and I won't go into all the stuff, but very interesting guy. He and his wife both work, and they got kids, and I don't go there that often, but he and I always talk, and I don't know that he remembers me each time that I go in, but we always have really interesting conversations. He's a very bright guy, and so it's Jack Mackerels that is there at the Curry Beach Pier, right there on the corner. And I will tell you this, and I hope that someone hears it, but I wish that Curry Beach at this one intersection will put up not what are they called, the street signs that tell you when to walk and when not to walk, because this intersection is so hard to cross all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's absolutely crazy, and it would be so awesome for people that are visiting and then the people that live here. But it is at the corner of K and Fort Fisher Boulevard.
Yeah, the one time we went, it was the middle of summer, and we sat outside, and it was great because the deck above gave you the shade, so you weren't directly in the sun. The food was great. It was a good time.
Could you see the ocean from up there?
I didn't go upstairs. We sat downstairs.
Oh,
so, yeah. I don't know if you could. I would imagine you could, but I don't know for sure.
Yeah, I would think so too. All right, so that is my number 3. Who you got for number 3?
My number 3 is Gallagher's in Surf City on the island. On my island, you're on yours, I'm on mine. They have some amazing food, like you said. The staff, all the way from the door person to the waitresses to the bartenders, the waiters, the cooks, the manager, Peter. They're all amazing. They're really nice people, and I've heard they've got one hell of a DJ up there on Wednesday nights for DJ trivia, but they have some really good food.
But tell me more about the Peter.
Hey, don't be talking about Peter. He's awesome. Peter, I love you. He's going to love this. So, they have Irish egg rolls, and that is my go-to every time I go because it is like a corned beef sandwich, but it's in an egg roll. And I'm not a big bread person.
They were out the night that we were there.
Oh, no, man, that stinks. I hate that for you because they are the bomb.
No, I wasn't going to order it, but the person that joined me and my friend, she tried to order it.
It's really good.
I was trying to think what I ate.
You don't remember? Honestly, I've not tried anything that was not good. I've tried all kinds of things. They've got crab meat nachos. There's all kinds of really good stuff.
So my friend Shay, she got lobster nachos.
Yeah, that's what it was. Not crab,
she
lobster.
loved it, and I think I got maybe some buffalo chicken tenders.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to eat with my hands
because
I
was. But I've not seen I've not tried the tenders.
Yeah, I was trying to
trying to be nice and not get it in your eyebrows.
Yeah, not look like a damn pig. So I think that's what I had. And I was trying to win trivia too, so I wasn't focused on eating. But I know that if I don't eat, I will get hangry. So
yeah, well,
yeah,
got to fix that. But yeah, they're a great place. They're not right on the water, so you can't see the water from there. But they're one street over. They're in between the ocean and the sound, and they have some really good food. It's basically American fare, so it's kind of all American food. They have a really good salads, burgers, nachos, wings, the whole deal. But my thing is the Irish egg rolls. It's corned beef, corned beef, sauerkraut, Swiss cheese, and they wrap it in an egg roll, and then you dip it in the Thousand Island, and it's really good for those that don't like a lot of bread like myself.
Is Thousand Island a Irish thing?
Honestly, I don't know, but that's what it was what you put on your corned beef sandwiches, like your Reuben.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it's basically like a Reuben, but instead of being on a bread, it's in an egg roll.
Yeah, well, that's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to. If you know the history of Thousand Island dressing, would you send that over to us at 910pod? Well, I had a good time. So that wasn't this past week, but it was a couple weeks ago that we were up there. And I love that DJ trivia that you do. And I thought that it moved quick, and that it was one answer at a time instead of like 4 rounds of 10.
Yeah.
And the I like the point system, and you can get a bunch of points, and you can take a risk, and you can lose them. So I thought that was real cool to be there.
Yeah, a lot of times I'll have people that'll come in that have never played before, and they get like to round 3, and they're like, "Oh, we only have like 60 points. We'll never catch up with all these other people, and we're just going to give up." And I'm like, no, don't do that, because I have seen so many times the last question that people with 300 points, they'll risk it all and they'll be wrong. And you come down to literally like out of 10 teams playing, you may only have 2 that even have points left at the end of the night.
Wow.
So never ever think that because you're low in the points that you're not going to win, because they could all risk it that last question. And it's definitely worth taking your chance and having fun anyway. My second choice of restaurants would be Indochine. I have to say, that's my number 2. It is off of Market Street. I absolutely love the outdoor area. The good time of year when you go in the evening and it's nice and breezy and a little cool, not so humid. Sit out in your own little area, have some privacy, some light, a little bit of, every now and then you can wander around with your drinks in the courtyard out there. But I have to say the pineapple imperial rice is my choice. I'm not much on sitting inside because I'm extremely claustrophobic, and it does get very busy and very packed in there. But the outside area is amazing. And that imperial rice, they bring enough to feed like a family of 4 as one serving. So
yeah, that's interesting that you mentioned Indochine as your number 2. Last week, or week before last, sometime in the past, I was at Captain Jules Hurricane Restaurant in North Myrtle Beach, or no, Little River. And I was talking to a person that was served there, and she told me that was one of her. Actually, she said she was coming up here for a wedding, and it's going to be at, I think it's called Ironclad Brewing there at like Sackett and Princess. Mm-hmm. And she asked about restaurants, and I had mentioned Indochine to her, and she said that she loves that place.
Yeah.
And so it's really cool that when you hear someone from out of town that knows it. And recently, one of my friends who went to school here, he and his wife have been talking about something that I'm working on artistically, and she said that she and her husband, who's my friend, had eaten there, and that they loved that place, and that was holds a special place in their heart for them. So very interesting that you picked Indochine for number 2. My number 2 is Cape Fear Seafood.
No, I've not eaten there yet. I have a very good friend that works there. Hoo-dee-hoo. Holla out, Terry.
Yeah, Terry joined us like a couple of weeks ago. Actually, the last time that we recorded here.
Fireworks.
And she was here, and you heard her for a second in the background. So Cape Fear Seafood, it is locally owned, and I think now they have 3 locations.
I think so.
And so they started with the one in Monkey Junction, and then Porter's Neck. Mm-hmm. And that Porter's Neck one is up near the Buffalo Wild Wings. And now they have one over at Magnolia Greens in L.A.
Lower L.A.
Yeah.
Shout out.
Also
all
called
the originals.
Leland.
Every now and then I got to let my Leland out. I try to keep it contained, but it breaks out occasionally.
Yeah, so.
I tell you, hold my earrings back up.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it is coming out. Leland is growing, and so I moved here in 2005, and I remember I had a friend who had a girlfriend that lived over there in Magnolia Greens, and it has been pretty stagnant over there for a while. But I went down through there, a couple of weeks ago, and it is really there's a lot of development that's going on there. I'm not even sure where the Cape Fear Seafood is there. I know that Terry told me, but
yeah, I don't remember either.
Yeah,
what is it?
but I know that
I know
it's
it's
over
right
there
in that area.
Yeah, Magnolia Greens Walmart area. And there's another building that was built like in front of the Harris Teeter or whatever that is over there.
Mhm.
So there's a lot more growth recently in that area.
Yeah, when I was growing up, there was the one stoplight in front of the McDonald's and the Hardee's. So it's come a long way, baby.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Cape Fear Seafood, the guy that owns it, Evans Trawick, he is from here and grew up here, and we know some of the same folks from back in the day, and I met him a couple times. And I've always had great food there, and I used to live closer to the one in Porter's Neck, and now I am more close to the one in Monkey Junction. But it's now that I'm south end of Curie Beach, I try and stay on the island as much as possible. So I haven't been up near any of his places.
Yeah.
But they have excellent food, and you can just read by the reviews on Yelp or in the newspapers when they have those contests that he's that place is just ran really well, and it was like something that this town needed, like an upscale seafood place. And that's not to discount or discredit Fish Bites or Fishy or the Fish House or any of those other places, but he has definitely found his niche here in the Wilmington area, and that's why he is my number 2, which leads me into
Yes.
my number 1, which you stole my thunder because you made my number 1 your number 2. But my number 1 is Indochine.
Hoo-doo.
And I think a lot of people would agree with me that Indochine is the best restaurant in the area. And, there's so many reasons. And, when I was talking to that person from down in Little River, South Carolina, she was saying, hey, you got to get there right when they open or right before they close. And I thought, wow, that is pretty amazing that someone that lives, an hour and 10 or 15 minutes away.
She's figured it out.
Yes, she knows what the rest of us maybe don't know. And it's like we go to our restaurant when we're hungry, and we don't think about, how busy they're going to be. But when I used to live up closer that way, I would. That's actually my go-to place whenever I have a real estate sale, as I celebrate by having Indochine. And you can go there and get a meal, eat your meal for that night, and take the rest of it. And then me personally, I can eat for 2 more days on it.
Absolutely. That's what I say about that imperial rice. It is literally enough for like a family of 4, and they bring it to one person.
And so my go-to meal there is the jungle curry. It is a yellow curry, and it has, I don't know what all in it, but I'll tell you a couple of things. It has the baby corn, which I love. And then also it has tomato. And I don't know where they came up with, but I've looked to try and find other places that will have, something similar. And I cannot find anything that has any place that has anything similar to the jungle curry. So that is my favorite dish, and I have always had good service there. Maybe once it was a little slow service-wise, but it may have been because it was so busy.
Yeah.
And so, what the person said, that was from Little River, she said, you got to get there as soon as they open, and that's true. And so they open at 5, they do a lunch, and they close for a couple hours, and they open back up at 5. So if you're going to go there, they don't take reservations, and they will not, give you like a buzzer to like be in the queue unless all of your party is on. They won't seat you unless all of your party is there. Yeah. So if you go there and you say, I've got 4, and then there's only you there, they won't seat you until all your folks are there. And it's because they're so daggone busy.
Yeah, I mean, they stay packed, and that outside is gorgeous. It is worth the atmosphere, the ambiance, the lighting. It's just really cool.
Yeah.
For it to be where it is and you sit in that backyard and you think, gosh, I didn't realize the busy road is right there.
Yeah.
Because all that's taken away.
And you're that
there.
close to downtown and other places there around it, Ivy Cottage. But yeah, and they have made some improvements. I think they have a tiki bar that's back there now, and some fountains and koi and all those things. So it's really, really a cool place, and that's my number one. And another reason that they're my number one is because last year sometime I was busy on a real estate deal, and I went and had lunch and sat by myself and was just very distracted like I sometimes am. and I got my lunch and ate most of it or part of it, and then I got the rest of it to go. And when I left and got in my car and got a couple blocks away, I realized I forgot my lunch on the table.
Yeah.
And so I called back, and they patched me through to Nikki, who they said was the owner. And I told her, I'd forgotten my lunch. And she said something that has always stuck with me. She says, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I know how much you enjoy our food. So next time that you come in, I'll give you half off."
Uh-huh.
And I said, wow. I mean, that was really an interesting way to put it.
Right.
That I don't know that she knew me. I don't know that I've spoken with her. I may have. I mean, I speak to a bunch of people, but she said that she knew how much I enjoy their food, and I really do enjoy their food a lot. And it was an honest mistake, and I was just distracted with work and ADD and whatever else goes through this brain. And so the next time I went, I told them, and they said, "Oh, did she give you a coupon or anything?" I said, "No." And then next thing I know, bam, half off my meal. So
that's awesome.
So don't try that and don't ruin it for the rest of us. But Nikki was very, very nice, and I really liked the way that she worded that. And she was absolutely right. I do love that place. So that's my number one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not big on spicy stuff, so that's why I say I like the Imperial pineapple rice. Oh, bless it. Now that you've blown us all away.
I muted mine.
So that's why I like the Imperial pineapple rice. It is it's got a little bit of everything. It's shrimp, chicken, pork, Chinese sausage, stir fried with the eggs, peanuts, cashews, onions, mushrooms, pineapple, and edamame beans. And I love it because, like I say, I'm not big on spicy things. So a lot of their stuff, even what they think is not very spicy, is spicy to me. So I have to say that Imperial pineapple rice is the bomb. And like you said, you can eat off of it for days. So it's certainly worth it. I love it. It's very hard to choose second and first place for me. They're kind of a tie.
Okay, so good. What's your first?
My first is Jebby's on 17 up in my neck of the woods. What? Yeah.
We were just there like a couple weeks ago.
Yes. And I must say, I've never gotten anything that wasn't good there. They make everything from scratch. They have some awesome food. My favorite is a fried chicken breast with, it has bacon and creamed spinach with mashed potatoes, and it is so good. It is very, very good. They have wings. They have a Gold Rush flavor that is like a kind of a cross between a buffalo and a sweet, and it's very, very good as well. But I've honestly never tried anything there that wasn't. Been going there for years since they opened. They are, like you said, they're kind of small, so there's a long wait if you get there at dinner time because there's not that many tables. So you want to time it just right. Either come very early or very late. If you get there at prime time, you're going to wait, but it will be worth it. I promise. Definitely worth it.
So what was that chicken breast with spinach that you're talking about? What's it called?
Let me see if I can. I'm pretty sure that it's just the chicken. Hold on. I don't want to tell you a story. But look. It is. find it. Oh, they have some really good shrimp and grits too, just so you know. But this is a southern fried chicken breast that I'm talking about. It's wilted spinach, bacon, cream sauce, and it's served over mashed potatoes. A fried boneless chicken breast. It is to die for. The chicken pot pie is very good. They make that as well, but the shrimp and grits is great. They have the best she crab soup and clam chowder I've ever eaten out of any restaurant. And I usually would get the crab soup, crab chowder, they call it, Jebby's crab chowder, until one night my son tried the clam chowder, and I'd never tried it there because I always got the crab just automatically, and he was like, Mom, this is the best clam chowder I've ever eaten. And I'm like, what can you do with clam chowder? But you'd be surprised. It is really good. It's the New England style, so it's the white, but it is amazing, and it comes in a homemade bread bowl. So it's worth the drive. If you don't normally go up that way, it's right on 17 across from the fire station there in Hampstead at the Flashing Light. So it's not that far into my neck of woods, but it's definitely good. And they have, if you're trying to be good, they have a really, really good salad as well. It's a blackened shrimp, and it has like strawberries and the spinach salad, and it is really good. So I'm not a salad person, but if I can eat it, it's the bomb.
You know what I noticed that one time that I was there was that it was hard to see from the road.
Yeah.
But and I think that's good too, because it's like you kind of like absorb some of the sound from the traffic that go by. Like you couldn't even tell. Like actually, I think we recorded a podcast outside there, and you could hardly even hear the cars that were going by.
If you're going north, it's right past the car wash on the same side of the road, but it's directly across from the fire department. So it's at the flashing light for the fire department. Yeah,
but I mean the other thing is that it felt like to me that it was. On the outside, it seemed like it was larger than what it was. But, so, yeah, I could see how it would get, packed real quick.
It does.
And actually, while I was there, because I waited for you for a little bit, and there were just people coming and coming and coming, and then I could tell there were a lot of regulars that were there, which tells me that there's, really good food.
It's one of the few places that is really, truly, mainly homemade stuff. It's not your frozen food, take it out the freezer, throw it in the fryer, and bring it to your table kind of stuff. So I think that's what makes them so valuable to the area, because there's so few places like that up there.
Yeah, actually, I agree. I agree that there's, anywhere now, like there's very few places that care so much about the quality of their food, and you sort of have to throw away the profit sometimes, because using fresher ingredients, it's going to cost you more money, and you can't always charge more for it, because sometimes most people aren't going to care that there's fresh ingredients, and or they might not have like the palate to even taste it. So that's something that I can't remember what I got there to eat, but I know that it was awesome.
I love the fact that there's the same waitresses and bartenders that have been there for as long as I can remember since they opened, and they're all, like you said, they're great. They take care of you. It can be literally 6 months, or it can be 2 days from the time I was last in there. And when I go in, she's going to remember what I drink. She's going to know what I want. Not necessarily the food, because I always try something different. But as far as my drink, they remember your name if you go in there regularly. They are really awesome people. I love a club sandwich every now and then, just a good club sandwich. They have a very good club sandwich. Not that you can really do a whole lot with them, but they have a pork loin sandwich that they do that's really good. They're, like I said, the shrimp and grits I really, really enjoy. But that southern fried chicken breast is by far my favorite. You have to check it out. With the spinach and bacon cream sauce. My son is even addicted to that. So he's like, Mama, get me one of them chicken breasts. Like, sure.
I'm glad that you mentioned the staff, because I think that the staff is so important, and I think I may have talked about it earlier. But I think a staff of any place is so important, and they're sort of a reflection of the owners, but they are the ones that are the ones that interact with the guests. But it says a lot about a restaurant that when you have someone that's there that's for a long amount of time.
Absolutely. And I can honestly say that just about every single person that works there, I remember them being there from day one. There's very few of them that are new or different. Their desserts are fresh made daily, so there's always a different type of dessert, and they're really yummy. So that's not really necessarily on the menu. It's just a market type thing, kind of like the seafood does. So you just go in, see what they have daily specials as well. So if you follow them on Facebook at Jebby's on 17, they have daily specials that they'll share on there, and they have some amazing food. You will not be disappointed.
That's awesome. So that was your number one. Do you have any honorable mentions? Any places that were like maybe just outside the top 5?
Honestly, I'm not real sure of any right off the top of my head.
Well, so I have one that I thought of, and actually I thought of another one, but I forgot it in the meantime. So one place is called Dram and Morsel. It is above Yosaki downtown. Mm-hmm. So it's probably owned by the same folks, but it is a very neat bar restaurant in that it's tapas, and you can order. The prices are so that you can order, 2 or 3 of different things, and you all could try a little bit of each one, and they have a very eclectic like drink and bar menu, and so that is one of the places I think is worth giving it a whirl. And I have seen it where they do take reservations, so I have seen it where you might try to go in and they're just there's too packed.
Yeah.
But there are places where you don't have to sit at a table. You can sit like around a coffee table.
Oh, cool.
And talk and have have a bunch of people.
I have never been there. That's cool.
Yeah, so that's just above Yosaki. And there was another place that I was going to mention. So in front of Captain Bill's, I think that's called Bill's Front Porch. Mm-hmm. That's another place that is worth checking out. And then another one is another place that we have mentioned here on the show, and that is Wrightsville Beach Brewery. And that is on Oleander at Greenville Loop Road.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And they have a excellent chef. And what'd you say?
Oyster salad.
Yeah.
Very good.
Excellent chef and great food. And so you should definitely check that one out. So those are my honorable mentions. Did you have any?
I honestly don't know of any right this minute. I can't think of any. I know I love me some hibachi. I know that, with that tiger sauce.
Oh, Hibachi Express.
Yeah, that's my favorite because I can't take all the time that it takes to go to the regular one. So I really like the fact that they have the Express. And used to be my Thursday lunchtime when I worked over off of New Center Drive because it was close. And they knew me. They're like, "Oh, the crazy lady's going to be here on Thursday." So when I called, they didn't even ask me what I wanted. They knew.
Wow.
But it's been a long time since I've been, but that's something that I really enjoy. It's probably not the best for me because I always just completely drown it in the white sauce, but it is so good.
I was at Food Line yesterday, and I saw they have that white sauce there.
Mm-hmm.
I think they call it either sriracha mayo or spicy mayo or something like that.
Yeah.
But they have a generic version of it, and I didn't get it just because I knew. I knew what I would do with it.
This is really good, though.
Yeah, put it on everything. Well, cool.
What's your number one?
What'd you say?
Your number one?
Oh, I said that a long time ago. Indochine.
Oh, I was thinking that you still had to go.
No,
I stole your thunder. That's right. I remember now.
You stole my thunder because my number one was your number two. So maybe maybe next time we should go in cahoots together. And
that just lets them know we didn't talk beforehand.
Yeah, no kidding. I forgot to even mention to you that we should do honorable mentions.
Yeah, because I didn't have time to think about that.
Yeah. And now that I think about it, it's like, do I have any more honorable mentions? Places I really, 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 really like.
I've been so busy lately, I haven't been able to actually go enjoy the places that I normally would, so that's why I'm at a loss. But
Yeah, well, I don't go out like I used to either, and I definitely don't go out to eat like. Well, I don't want to say like I used to, but I definitely don't go out to eat much. But I will tell you, these places that I do go to, I mean, they are phenomenal, and I love them.
And you go back for a reason.
No, absolutely. And you know what? 9 times out of 10, actually 10 times out of 10, it's because of the people. And so it's either because of the chef and the kitchen staff for cooking some amazing food, or the front of the house staff is giving some great service and making people feel like they belong to be there and want to go there. So, and hats off to them, and also hats off to the owners and managers of those places for having that culture of those people who want to work in a restaurant for 8+ years.
Absolutely, and are comfortable in that atmosphere with all the range of people that they have to deal with, because I can hear to tell you that they're not all pleasant. And to be able to put up with that and continue keeping on with a positive attitude says a lot about them.
Yeah. I spoke to someone recently, and they said, "Oh, I'm just a server at so-so." I'm like, you can't say just a server. Because it's like you touch so many people's lives, and you're not just a anything.
No.
Really. And I mean, it might be humbling to be a server and to work and get people their drinks and their food, but you're giving recommendations and you're giving advice, and there's a lot of people that go into these places with some problems, and you're talking to them, and you're doing more than serving. You're just listening and being an ear for these lonely or sad or people who don't have others to go to. So
maybe the only interaction they have that day, you don't know.
Right,
and
yeah.
As far as like that goes, there's lots of people that don't have the family and the friends here, or they may be out of town or away or whatever, and you may be the only interaction they have. So, like you said, never think you're just anything.
Yeah, a wise man once said, I wasn't put on the earth to be served. I was put on the earth to serve others. And so I sort of live by that credo, and that I think that, and I know that my life, since I have thought that way, has been much, much better in that I look to help people and do as much for other people as I can. And so when I look to people who are serving food, I have never, well, not never, but I don't look down on them. I look at them with the eyes of they're doing work that is very, very important. And especially if you go in there and you say, "Hey, tell me what's the best thing on the menu," or "What do you eat when you eat here?"
Exactly, and then for them to give you their genuine input, it definitely is, especially if you've not been there before.
Yeah, absolutely. So, hats off to the staff that serve the food, the staff that makes the food, and the managers that run the places, and the owners and those managers that have the culture that make people want to stay around them.
Heck yeah. I'm all about it. Now we talked it up. It's time to eat.
Yeah, let's get some Fiber One brownies and
Fiber One.
Yeah.
Lord, Grandpa. It's past bedtime, y'all.
I hope that y'all have enjoyed this very first Top 5 episode. We are going to be putting one of these out, the first podcast that we do for each month. We record on Thursdays, and I'll post those on Fridays. And so if you have any suggestions or topics that you would like to hear us discuss, or if you're a local business owner or a person here in the area and you want to be on the podcast, you can just contact us at 910pod, and that's all of our social media, or at 910pod at gmail.com. You can send us an email, and we'll be happy to get in touch with you and get you on here and hear what you got to say. Shannon, do you have any departing words for our people who are now as hungry as we are?
Oh, eat big, tip well, and make us proud.
All right. Thanks for listening.
Have a good night.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us on this journey. Make sure to tell your friends to check out our webpage at 910pod.com and to subscribe to the podcast on your favorite podcast platform. If you take a minute and leave us a 5-star review, that really helps other people find us. If you're interested in becoming a sponsor of the show, email us at 910pod@gmail.com. And make sure you follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at 910pod. Stay safe. We'll see you next week right here on What's Up, Wilmington, the 910 Podcast.